Maimonides, a legacy of Jewish and Islamic scholarship. Maimonides, also known as Rambam, was a 12th century Sephardic Jewish rabbi, philosopher, physician, and astronomer who became one of the most prolific and influential Torah scholars of the Middle Ages. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest Jewish sages in history, shaping Jewish thought and law for centuries. Beyond his immense contributions to Jewish scholarship, Maimonides was also a towering intellectual in the Islamic world, serving as the personal physician to Sultan Saladin, the legendary ruler of Egypt and Syria, who defeated the Crusaders and recaptured Jerusalem in 1187. Maimonides was deeply immersed in the scientific and philosophical traditions of the Islamic Golden Age. His works, particularly in medicine and philosophy, were studied by both Muslim and Christian scholars, solidifying his influence across cultures. A dedicated Aristotelian thinker, Maimonides integrated Greek philosophy with Jewish theology, a synthesis that would later inspire Christian theologians such as Saint Thomas Aquinas. His masterpiece, The Guide for the Perplexed, remains one of the most profound philosophical texts in both Jewish and general medieval thought, addressing the tension between reason and faith. Unlike many religious leaders of his time, and indeed many today, Maimonides held an inclusive view of salvation. He taught that any non-Jew who adheres to the 7 laws of Noah is considered a righteous Gentile and is assured a place in the world to come, the ultimate reward of the righteous. This stands in stark contrast to the exclusivist views held by some fundamentalist Jews and Christians who believe salvation is reserved only for members of their faith. One can only hope that modern religious hardliners, both Jewish and Christian, might take a lesson from his wisdom. Maimonides' life was shaped by exile and migration. Born in Cordoba, Spain, he fled persecution, spending time in Morocco before eventually settling in Egypt, where he rose to prominence in Saladin's court. Though he died in Egypt, tradition holds that he was ultimately buried in Tiberias in present-day Israel, where the tomb of Maimonides remains a site of pilgrimage and reflection. Maimonides' legacy is one of intellectual brilliance, interfaith respect, and ethical universalism. His works continue to be studied by Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike, a testament to his enduring relevance in an age that still struggles with the very questions he sought to answer. While Maimonides became one of the most revered figures of his time, his personal life was marked by great suffering. He came from a wealthy and respected family, and after fleeing Spain due to religious persecution, his brother, David, became a merchant to support the family. David was a successful trader in precious stones, and his business ventures provided the financial stability that allowed Maimonides to dedicate himself to study and writing. Tragically, David's life was cut short when his ship sank in the Indian Ocean, drowning him along with his entire fortune. The loss devastated Maimonides, not only emotionally, but also financially. Left without means to support his family, he fell into a deep depression that lasted for about a year. He later described this period as one of the darkest times in his life, writing that he could barely function due to overwhelming grief. To recover both emotionally and financially, Maimonides turned to medicine, becoming a practicing physician, a career that eventually led him to Saladin's court. In a way, his personal tragedy redirected his path, pushing him into a profession that would solidify his legacy not only as a rabbi and philosopher, but also as one of the greatest physicians of his time. Maimonides' life, full of exile, loss, and hardship, reflects a resilience that matched his intellect. His ability to navigate different worlds, Jewish, Islamic, and Christian, made him one of history's most extraordinary thinkers. Through his relationship with Saladin and his endurance through personal tragedy, Maimonides left behind a legacy that continues to inspire scholars, theologians, and seekers of wisdom today. One of the most remarkable aspects of Maimonides' life was his role as the personal physician to Saladin, the great Muslim warrior who defeated the Crusaders and reclaimed Jerusalem in 1187. While little is known about their direct conversations, historical accounts suggest that Maimonides was highly esteemed in Saladin's court. His deep knowledge of medicine and philosophy made him an indispensable figure in Cairo, not just for the Sultan, but also for other high-ranking officials. A famous anecdote tells of how Maimonides, serving as court physician, prescribed treatments not just for Saladin, but also for his close relatives. His influence may have even extended beyond medical matters. Some speculate that his philosophical ideas, rooted in Aristotelian rationalism, resonated with the intellectual elite of Saladin's court, which was known for its patronage of scholars. Maimonides' medical treatises, written in Arabic, were widely studied in the Islamic world and remained influential for centuries. The exact details of how Maimonides entered the service of Saladin remain uncertain, but historical accounts and legends provide an intriguing picture of their first encounter. One widely told story suggests that Maimonides' entry into Saladin's court was the result of both his medical brilliance and an unexpected twist of fate. One day, Sultan Saladin, the great Muslim leader who had recently reclaimed Jerusalem from the Crusaders, fell gravely ill. The best physicians in Cairo's royal court attempted to cure him, but none succeeded. The Sultan, known for his sharp mind and strategic genius, grew frustrated.
Must there be no physician in all my land who can ease my suffering?
It was then that one of Saladin's advisors mentioned a certain Jewish doctor of great intellect and skill, Moses ben Maimon, also known as Maimonides. By this time, Maimonides had already gained a reputation in Egypt as a healer, having treated both commoners and noblemen with his advanced knowledge of medicine, blending Greek, Persian, and Arab techniques. Though some in the court were skeptical of bringing in a Jewish physician, Saladin, a pragmatic ruler, agreed to summon him. When Maimonides arrived at the royal palace, he observed the Sultan carefully before prescribing a treatment. According to legend, rather than relying on the elaborate remedies of other doctors, he focused on diet, rest, and simple but effective herbal medicines. Some say that within days, Saladin showed remarkable improvement, regaining his strength and energy.
I'm impressed with your skills.
Impressed, Saladin decided to test the Jewish physician further. He invited Maimonides to a debate with his court scholars, challenging him to answer philosophical and theological questions. The scholars expected to outwit the foreign doctor, but Maimonides, with his deep knowledge of Aristotelian philosophy and Islamic thought, not only held his ground, but also won the Sultan's admiration. From that moment on, Saladin made Maimonides his personal physician, entrusting him with his own health as well as that of his family and high-ranking officials. Over time, their relationship deepened beyond medicine. Saladin valued Maimonides' wisdom and even sought his counsel on matters of philosophy and governance. Thus, through a mix of faith, intellect, and medical mastery, Maimonides became one of the most esteemed figures in Saladin's court. His story is a testament to how knowledge and wisdom can transcend religious and cultural divisions, bringing together two of history's greatest minds in an unexpected alliance.